this welcome to Plat Chat. I'm sure everything before this moment's been cut.
Probably not.
Thank you for Sideshow for gifting a few subs in the chat. That's why you guys should tune in early every episode.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if we want to talk about the schedule as a whole getting released, but if you're like Bren and you just woke up at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you may have missed that all of the schedules and homestands and where everything's going to be was released for the year. But I think you guys want to talk about the travel, the article that Yiska put out.
Yeah. Yiska had a great article where I don't know where he's. I have a personal theory that this Eric Doa person that he always writes the articles with is just like, you know, in Pulp Fiction where there's the guy in the gimp suit that he keeps in the basement.
Yeah.
I think this might be the same thing where Yiska has a statistician in his basement dressed in a gimp suit and he just wheels him out to like run Monte Carlo probabilities and like figure out how far people are going to travel.
Is his name literally Eric Doa?
Yeah, Eric Doa. I think it's
maybe it's Doa's
like a Netherlands.
Because Doa's first name is Eric.
It's Doa's alt, dude.
Yeah, Doa's alt.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So anyway, they made this this article where they had worked out roughly, it's like an estimate of how far people are going to fly just by doing like airport to airport of where they would go. The difference is stark. I mean, the Washington Justice, because they host 5 homestands, are only estimated to travel around 20k miles. The London Spitfire, if they lived in London, would travel over 75k miles. That's crazy.
75k.
Yeah.
75k.
Yeah, 75,000 miles in a year.
What?
That's a lot of miles.
I'm gonna be honest, like I have no idea like how much 75,000
and
miles actually is, so I have no idea.
The Atlantic, well, I think it's also kind of skewed because if you start reading it, so the Atlantic South Division, which is 5 teams, so it's the Justice, the Mayhem, the Reign, the Fusion, and the Outlaws. They are the only reason that they are the top 5 spots in terms of least travel is because they are the only teams that don't go to Asia.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where a lot of the teams and miles are coming from.
Where is this article?
Upcomer.com. I can put it for you in the channel.
I've got it.
And then Washington hosting 5 homestands combined with the fact that they're not traveling to Asia is why they have so little miles. So
yeah.
Now, is this assuming the players are going to be living in their respective cities?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that London and Paris are not going.
I'm not going to live there. Who the hell would they scrim against?
The British Hurricane, obviously, the greatest team in the world.
Yeah, HSL Esports, Clockwork.
They're also assuming here that like teams will travel directly site to site unless there's a bye week or travel through another site. Because like they mentioned, Boston's inclusion near the bottom sticks out. Though there's one quick fix to put them in the middle of the pack. So they have like a trip to China, and then if they stay in Asia, rather than returning stateside. So if they stay in Asia for the week, instead of coming back to the States, their mileage would drop from
if
from
there's
70,
any team trying to save that money, it'll be Boston.
I feel like we've sort of invalidated this article now.
No, I mean it's still like
it's still interesting to look at.
It's still mad different, though. I mean, we're saying the reasons why this happens. Like, everyone knows the reasons why it's going to happen is because Justice are hosting 5 and stuff. But at the end of the day, they are going to be traveling like 3 times less than a bunch of the other teams. You said, Johnny, you didn't know how far 75,000 miles is. That's 3 times around the world. That's like 3 times doing a full 360-degree lap around the world.
This also assumes, though, that if London... This is assuming that if London has a game against Shanghai, let's say July 1st, and then Guangzhou July 20th, it is assuming that London flies back to London when their game against Shanghai ends and then goes back to Guangzhou from London. So that is like a lot of extra travel. Like if they just stayed in Asia for like 2 months, their numbers would go from 76,000 to like 40.
I think what this shows generally, though, is that the travel is going to be significant. Like, not to be sniffed at. This is a lot of travel that the players...
And it's not even about the miles, quite honestly. It's just about the amount of times you have to go to an airport and just spend time checking in and taking economy flights. Like, all professional sports teams, they're like, oh, we got private jets, or, we just book our own flight. But these guys have to go economy flights just all over the world.
So let's use the Shock for an example. I was talking to somebody and I had this question the other day. Is if you're the Shock, right? And you have a lot of like damage dealers, right? Like good players, like you have a pretty deep bench. Do you get in a scenario where if you have to go to Asia for 2 months, you just don't send a player like Sinatra and like Striker just lives in Korea and just plays in the Asian stuff to just cut down on travel?
I mean,
so players don't burn out.
Guangzhou is a really interesting example of that. If they weren't hosting as many homestands as they are, because they're actually hosting 5, but like imagine they were going all the way around the world. They basically have 2 teams at the moment. One is English speaking and one is primarily Korean speaking.
Right. So do you leave one stateside and then have one in Asia and
split
you could. The team into 2, right?
How weird is that though? Because like say you're a fan of Fraggy and Bishu, but you actually live in the middle of Shanghai. You're like, oh, time to watch some Guangzhou Charge games. And you turn up and they're like, no, by the way, we didn't choose to bring Fraggy and Bishu this time. They're currently sat in Philadelphia.
Because that's what like NBA teams have started to do that. Like just because the travel and the rest on players is like so important. Obviously, like much different. But like if LeBron has a game, like if the Lakers play in LA and then they do like 2 games in another city, and then after that second game, they would come right back to LA. They don't even send LeBron on the road. Like they're like, oh, we value just the rest for him and not getting on the plane and not dealing with that more than those 2 matches.
Yeah.
Like, I think you'll see that.
Yeah. Can you put your mic a bit closer to your mouth, Matt?
No.
Because you sound like a robot.
Johnny, is that okay with you, buddy?
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess, yeah.
Anything for you, Johnny. Anything for you.
Yeah.
Oh, but thank you.
I think I think you could definitely see that. Like if you have a homestand in Dallas and you're playing against 2 teams that are really bad, I'm not going to use anyone as an example because in 2020, who the fuck knows who's going to be good and who's going to be bad. But yeah, if you don't want to send your best squad, you could send the travel team.
No,
I don't think
the travel team.
Yeah, can you imagine that though? As well, you're like the travel team. Like you live on an airplane, you go and do it. You're like the representation of the San Francisco.
No pressure to perform. Just like, hey, I'm in the travel team. You know. Like,
I don't trust any of the support staff or coaching staff in the league to be able to make intelligent decision making regarding what roster to bring to specific events to save money. And I reckon if a team tried to do it, they would fail miserably.
But it's not to save money. It's to save the players.
Save the players, but also save money as well.
Save the frames. Save the money. Save the animals.
They honestly, as well, this is a business. They care more about the money saving aspect than they would about.
So you just made a better reason to do it because you're saving the players and you're saving money.
Yes.
But you don't think the coaches would.
But you don't think they'd be able to figure it out.
I mean, realistically, if New York had their last 2 homestands in Asia and they already qualified for playoffs, they could just sandbag. They could just sandbag the last 2 homestands because they're qualified.
Don't bring up theories about NYXL sandbagging, please.
I'm just saying, dude.
Jonathan Monte Cristo Larsson.
I did the Cheddar Sports yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, well, what are the chances that New York's gonna beat Vancouver?" I was like, "Man, remember when we were so hyped for this game early on in the season? And then now I'm like, there ain't a chance. I feel like."
Yeah. Do you want to talk about New York? They are a fucking weird team.
One more thing of note that I guess somebody ran like a bit of the schedule, and that exactly half of the 2020 matches will happen in 6 cities. Which is really interesting. Dallas, Washington, Guangzhou, LA, Paris, and Philly. LA makes sense because there's 2 teams here.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. But why Paris and Philly? Oh, just Dallas because they happen to be hosting 3 instead of 2.
Dallas and Washington are both doing 5, right? And then Guangzhou's doing 5. LA's automatically has 4 because of the 2 teams.
I'll tell you what, though. I am super happy that is the case because presumably, I mean, maybe I'm giving everybody too much credit here, but presumably the reason that like certain teams are hosting more than others is because Blizzard went to them all and said, "Have you got your shit together?" And some of them were like, maybe. And they were like, right, well, this guy actually does have his shit together, so we're going to give a bunch to them. Like, I think that the reason that it seems uneven like that is so that things actually run smoothly.
Well, I also think it's much easier to plan in terms of like, hey, we know most of our matches are in these time zones. Let's figure it out based off of like these cities, right? So like you kind of work with the matches and start times around those cities and kind of funnel it back to the rest of the homestand. So
yeah,
I think
yeah, and like Formation is saying here, he was talking to some people on the charge. The teams actually said they wanted X amount of homestands as well.
Okay,
because,
so like,
wait, so Washington has more homestands than New York?
yes.
But I think this is also good from a fan standpoint because I feel like we have pretty strong cities with very strong fan bases to represent most of the homestands, like LA, Dallas, Philadelphia, Paris, Washington. That's huge fan bases right there.
Here's an interesting scenario. I pulled up the Atlanta Reign schedule. Just let's use this as an example, right? Bunch of domestic games, pretty easy travel. Then they have 2 games that are international in Paris. Not a crazy travel, Atlanta to Paris, but still.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming off of a week where they would be coming from DC back to Atlanta, you assume, or DC directly to Paris, then directly to Toronto, and then to Florida. They play the Paris Eternal and the Boston Uprising. They play Paris like basically a month before, and Boston as well. If you dumpster them in those games, do you need to send the A squad to Paris when they have to turn around and go to Toronto right after that?
Yeah. What is the actual gap like between one match and then another? Are we talking a full week?
So they would play the argument that I'm using here is they would play Saturday, April 4th, in DC against NYXL, and then they would have their next match a full week away. So Saturday, April 11th in Paris.
Right, and then what about Toronto as well? Is that April 18th?
Oh, so no, yeah. So they have a game Saturday, April 11th and the 12th, and then they go to Toronto and they play the 18th and the 19th. But then they're off after that until May 16th.
Right, yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty fast turnaround to go from Paris to Toronto. I could see when teams have to do that kind of stuff and they've got 1 week to pick up their shit, go there, and actually start practicing as well. Because
would you rather save some of those players in the Paris trip with Paris and Boston to just level up to get ready to play London?
I mean, talking from a player perspective, I don't even think that sounds that bad, because you have to remember as well that you're essentially being given 1 extra day that you don't have to do like PR or like media or like take pictures for the event, because everyone already has the pictures.
But so when are you going?
You just travel and you just play the game. And like
you say that now, but they're going to be in hotels basically from February 29th all the way up until April 19th.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that the stress level is way lower than you guys would think.
Why would you even get an apartment at that point, as well?
Well, I mean, they're for
time off.
Yeah, I mean, you still have time off. But
not that much though.
No, but yeah, I think the more interesting thing is like, well, where did they go like in between, right? Like they play like here's an example, like March 1st they have a match against Paris and Houston. That match ends. They don't have a match until March 8th, which is a Sunday. Do they go back to Atlanta? Do they go straight to Washington? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that comes down to like the logistics.
I think it's just logistics, right?
But I would say it's way more stressful to stay in one hotel for an extended amount of time rather than traveling between like 3 events.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
but the most important thing for teams to figure out, in my opinion, less so this and more so, where are you actually practicing?
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, because if you're going from Paris to Toronto, it's more relevant if you're going from like 2 places that are very close by, but you don't have anywhere to go back in between. So like say you're going 2 places in China, but you're based in Atlanta, right? Which I don't think actually happens, but all right, it's a hypothetical. You want to stay in China because you're not going to fly all the way back to Atlanta. So you actually have to the teams will be forced to find really good practice locations when they're out on the road, which can actually be pretty difficult because like setting up the practice areas at these people's offices here took a while to get everything right, and you have all of the PC.
Yeah. That's why I sort of like the Philadelphia arena, because Philadelphia were supposedly just having everything set in order, and it was like a PC bang or some shit. I don't know. It's like
they're building like an arena or something.
Yeah,
I could see teams partnering with certain companies that have and own esports bars, cafes, this kind of stuff around the world, particularly when they're out in China and Asia, if they're the more Western teams, or the other way around, you know, particularly in the US.
And this is a schedule for Atlanta. Probably not the best example because they don't have any of the Asia trips, like I mentioned. So they're one of the teams that doesn't go to Asia.
Fair,
so their only international travel is Vancouver. They have to go Vancouver for 1 day. They have one match against the Titans. And then they just do Paris and Toronto back to back, and that's it in terms of international travel.
I'm actually so excited for these homestands to happen.
Yeah.
Because it will be such a different feel. Because normally everyone's here in LA and you just take it for granted that everybody's here. Nobody really hangs out that much. It's like the UK guys, the Korean guys hang out at places. But generally speaking, like people aren't out a lot, going out doing things. When it's a homestand and like you're meeting another team that you haven't met in ages, and maybe like you used to play on the team or used to be friends with them when you were in LA, and you meet up in Dallas, people are going to be having fun then.
Yeah,
then it feels more like a fucking classic esports event.
Case in point is the homestands this year, where normally like all of the talent, we all get along, right? Using that as an example. But we never really all hang out in the same area. But when we're all working the same event in a homestand, it's almost like, well, we're going to hang out now. And then we just end up going on these top golf sprees for 3 days.
Good times, eh?
So here's a breakdown of the home. What cities host X many games? Vancouver will host 10 games. Toronto 10 games. San Francisco 10. Seoul 10. NYXL hosts 10. London 10. Valiant and Gladiators 10 each. So that's how you end up with 20 for LA. That's why they have one of the bigger cities. Florida 10, Chengdu 10, Boston 10, Atlanta 10, Shanghai 11, Spark 11, Outlaws 11. This is where you start to see the jump. So Philly with 17 games.
Wait, sorry. Why are some teams
How many games host in their city? How many games are in their city?
Right, but why, like for example, the Shock have 2 homestands with 10 games hosted. So each homestand has 5 matches in it, right?
Yeah.
But then the Shanghai Dragons have 2 homestands and 11 games hosted.
Yeah, maybe they're throwing an extra game in there.
Right. So one's just an extra game thrown in for the schedule.
Those Pacific, maybe it's just an extra game for scheduling. But Philly 17 games, Paris 18, and we go from 18 to Washington has 28 games in their city.
Right.
Guangzhou 28 in theirs, and then Dallas has 29.
Yeah.
And so you see how big the jump is. I mean, Dallas is going to have double the amount of games as like Canada.
Yeah.
I also think the Dallas Field homestand was pretty convincing. You're just like, this arena is dope. All the fans are amazing. Let's be in Dallas. So,
I mean, why not? It's fantastic.
and
did you see the Guangzhou watch parties? Dude, Guangzhou has 17 billion people living there. That's an actual fact.
Wait,
it's a fact. 17 billion people live.
17 billion.
Billion. I'm pretty sure that's literally a fact.
That is not a fact.
That is not a fact.
That is the incorrect number there.
Wait.
Absolutely not correct.
It actually has 13 million people there though. It's
a fucking huge.
It's got a huge. Yeah. Like it actually has a shit ton of people.
If there were 17 billion people, you wouldn't be able to walk. It would just be.
Oh my god! Such a Pepega.
Say that, but you could fit the entirety of the population of the world on the island of Japan.
No, I don't think that's true.
You can. They worked.
Wait, what do you mean you can?
They would have by
they worked it out.
Definition of the of whatever organization runs shit, the World Health Organization or something. The standard definition of how much personal space you need to live, so that it's humane. You could get everyone on Earth living in Japan.
Yo, how big is Japan?
Now, I'm not saying the quality of life would be great, but it is possible.
Yeah, I don't know.
It would be healthy, according to the World Health Organization.
Okay.
Although they're not really like super close, Dallas and Houston, they do what, like 40 games combined? Just those 2 cities. Yeah. I mean,
here's one thing that I'm a little bit worried about. Not so much with Dallas because we know the fan base is there. They built it up over years, but Washington, they've been Pepega tier for so long.
Yeah, but
do they have the fan base?
I think they will because they have like Corey and Stratus are 2 of the more fun stories we have in the league like right now, and I think going forward, like would you guys be stunned like if Corey's not on Team USA? Like at this point, I would.
Yeah, but
Sure.
also I don't think that's even the question.
Yeah.
Is Washington
It
going
comes
to be
down
popular?
to traditional sports, right?
No,
Oh,
not even.
No. It's like the people from Philly and New York are going to travel to watch the games.
You think so?
It's not just going to be people
Absolutely.
from
Yeah,
Washington.
New York and
Fucking
Washington
A,
are very
of course
close.
they will.
Yeah.
Bren, you can get
It's true. It's true.
So many people condensed in the northeast of.
True.
Bren,
East
you can
Coast.
get a train from New York to Washington D.C. for like $60, and just go.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's
that's
right.
right.
Isn't Washington a pretty big like college town or something as well?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Washington's a really fun city. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna have a good time.
People are probably going to be doing that then, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
I
a
think
good time to
Washington will just
record.
be kind of the default play. The really interesting thing is what we were talking about last episode. Like all of the people that come from, say, New York to Washington, if there's actually a rivalry there or something, like how does it even work in that sense? Like, does Washington feel like it's the Washington Stadium, or does it just feel like a kind of homogenized East Coast stadium?
Nah,
Have
bro.
they announced?
If anyone out there is in Washington, bro, if us New Yorkers come through and we're doing like our thing, start booing us. That throws. I
Throw
don't
some
want
shit at me.
I don't want to condone throwing stuff at people. Like even if it's popcorn, it's light. Like you can hit somebody with it. It's fine. Like you good. I don't go a little crazy. I ain't condoning that.
Yo, the Washington arena sounds pretty dope.
Don't let these New Yorkers beat you out, Washington. Now, if you're Philly, you should just take it. I mean, Philly.
Have you seen the Paris stadium? Paris
Yeah.
announced their thing, the Zenith de Paris.
That's we did an ESWC there. It's awesome.
It's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like 7,000 seats.
bro.
I did an ESWC.
Whoa, that's legendary.
Yeah,
What is ESWC?
What? Oh
what?
my god. It's
I actually have no idea what that is either.
What is it?
What?
It's
Is
like,
Is that the thing where they were like beyond the game?
No.
What was
That's
that?
WCG.
ESWC was like a Esports World Cup type of thing where each country got like certain spots for different games. And...
It's notoriously a pretty scuffed event.
Oh yeah, how silly of me. How could I not remember the ESWC? Who the fuck has heard of that?
Yeah,
I think it was very
popular, bro. It's always
Wow.
it's always in Paris. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
So you know when like Counter-Strike was its peak or whatever, but we're still like lacking events. ESWC, they just hosted all of these like good Counter-Strike tournaments, but it was notoriously scuffed because there was no like money coming in, but it was also the top tournament because you know you need a top tournament, and so it was just typical Team Fortress 2 sort of environment.
When I was doing COD, Momo was still playing at the time. He wasn't a caster, and he was on a team, and we beat the piss out of these kids. Jesus, it was like 250. it was like 250 to like 6, dude. And I just remember Clayster and I were just yelling at them, and then Momo was like, "Yo, I'm done. I'm out. I'm cast the next event. I'm good." That's how Momo became a caster.
There you go.
Shout out to Momo.
Yeah, I spoke to Momo the other day. He's a good lad.
Good lad.
Yeah, good guy. Good guy.
guy.
Let's talk about Overwatch League. I don't know. We talked about
All right,
the city of Guangzhou had 8 billion
fans
people
then?
at one point.
Hey, I'd happily
Which
spend
fans
5
are going to
minutes.
be the most
5 minutes just
most mental?
talking about Matt's.
Which
career.
fans?
Paris.
Yeah, which
Dude,
which
Paris,
cities?
yes.
Paris. The Paris
Paris
games
are
should be
rabid.
nuts. They should be
Those
nuts,
games are going to
right?
be fucking awesome.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
were rabid because they were good in the World Cup though.
Yeah, but it doesn't even matter, bro. Like, dude,
Were
like
they?
they would
Yo, they
cheer
got
on,
the easiest qualifier last year. Of course, they were booming
Oh, yeah.
people left
Bro,
and
they're
right.
gonna
That's
be
what
You
fine,
say,
bro.
you say the easiest qualifier. I mean, they had the UK in their group. The UK that beat Team USA.
It was the only relevant team at that homestand with Paris.
Oh,
Yes.
dude, I thought
No, you're not wrong.
I
You're
thought
not
what
wrong.
was the one that the stuff that Sweden was at? I thought that was supposed to be the easiest one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the Thailand
so
game.
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was supposed to be the easiest one,
Incredibly
yeah.
easy.
Oh man, what a crazy one that one
Yeah,
was.
unreal. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. What
Hey, yo,
happened
shout out to my boy Costa. You know, I got you to BlizzCon.
there? Shout out
no,
to
for
my
sure.
boy.
Never
That's
gonna
true,
forget.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out my
Costa.
boy Costa.
Costa owes you a drink or two.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Otherwise,
Alright,
Shaq,
it
you
would be-
know, he
Yo,
wasn't turning
Costa,
up.
dude, fucking Costa owes you a drink. I just saw Costa on Twitter. It's like going around like
he's
handing
delivering
out Bud
beer.
Lights to people. He's delivering beer.
Yeah,
What?
he's doing a promotion where if you order a beer through this app, there's a chance that Costa is the one that delivers your beer.
It's so weird. It's like he's prepping for being fired from Valiant.
Seth
Delivering
was talking,
Bud Light.
I was
Who
playing
goes
some,
and Oh, okay. No,
I was playing some Overwatch with Achilleos last night, and he was like, "Yo, you see this thing Custa's doing, delivering beer with this Grizzly company?" I was like, "What are you talking about?"
yo. Let's do that for Bren, but Bren delivers White Claws.
Yeah, there's no laws and you got a claw. That's all I know.
Bren just throws White Claw at you from a distance.
I can deliver G Fuel.
But yeah, Custa, Achilleos was like, yeah, me and Wolf are just gonna keep ordering through this app until eventually Custa's the one. We're just gonna keep ordering like 24s of Bud Light until Custa's like just shows up at our door.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, I woke up today at the side of my bed. I had my phone still playing Dota, and I had 4 White Claws just chilling by the side of my bed, just half drank. I was like, whoa.
Why were all
we
4 of them half drunk?
When we were playing Overwatch last night, about halfway through, Seth is like, "Oh no, I think I hear Bren downstairs." I was like,
Yeah, it was me.
So he's like, "I think Bren ended up in my house." I was like, "Oh." it was like 1 a.m. He's like, "Oh man." It's like, "Yep,
Yeah.
probably
yeah, amen.
migrated to go watch Dota there."
Yeah.
Let's talk about week 4 because that happened.
I can't remember week 4. I just know there was a big delay.
2 big things this week. Hangzhou gets 2 back-to-back wins against Dallas and then the Gladiators. That's pretty big for the Spark. And then, my boys, you all doubted Atlanta, bro.
They're not your boys. Where did you get this from? They're Sideshow's boys. They're strictly Sideshow's boys.
They're Zoe's boys.
No,
to be
every
fair,
week.
Zoe was on the Atlanta train way before.
Every week I've been like, "Yo, they should be in the top 3." And you're like, "Oh no, man. No,
Atlanta Sideshow was talking
Johnny's
about
like,
Atlanta,
"So dynasty, bro. So dynasty, bro." Like that's all they can tell me.
Dude, you just watched the Watchpoint pre-show and you just copied their analysis, Matt. So like, there's nothing to this. They're Sideshow's boys strictly.
You're actually assuming I watched the Watchpoint pre-show.
That would make sense for you, casting.
Yeah, no, I'm getting coffee during the Watchpoint pre-show. I'm taking a nap during the Watchpoint pre-show.
Yeah, I can tell.
I love Watchpoint. Shout out to Watchpoint, but there's sometimes where I'm busy and I wait for the games to start.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you gonna say?
The Spark Gladiators game, though, you're talking about Hangzhou, right? Going 2-0 this week.
Yeah.
One was against Dallas. Who the
Big
fuck
win.
cares?
Big win.
Yeah. The other's against the Gladiators. Okay, but
Who
now
we thought was number like 2.
Well, we just had the Gladiators up there because
there was
fuck
no one
knows
else
who
who was
number
number
one.
Because there's nobody else.
Yeah,
But
I know you
now-
don't watch the pre-show, but I made multiple points as to why Gladiators were not number 2.
Right, Gladiators are now 3-3, and the teams they've lost to are Spark in a 5-game, Shock in a 5-game, and the Outlaws. And the teams they've beaten are Dallas in a 5-game, Chengdu in a 5-game, and the NYXL who are Papega. This is just looking like a solid middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
Also, I went
There's a
back and
proper
watched some of their
debate.
games, and they look like they don't know how to play properly. I was watching a great video actually by Mineral, who was breaking down one of their holds, and he was like, "What the hell are they doing? Like they're just playing awfully."
Is it like weird? Like, cause last year we had like a pretty consistent meta throughout. And I think we had like a clear cut like top teams, right? This year the same thing with goats, but now I feel like we have like 1, maybe 2 teams at the top, and then like a large group of a flip a coin type of matches.
Yeah, there's like people forget, but there's been so many upsets this stage that it has been like theoretically impossible to predict.
It's been like flip a coin. Yeah, flip a coin.
Like you can't predict the future because everything just gets flipped on its head.
I mean, it's but like as weird as it sounds, the 3 teams I feel the best about right now. I can probably say in order would be the Shock, the Rain, and the Charge.
Yeah. Shock, Rain, Charge, Justice are the 4 teams that I feel like have a proper grip.
Well,
on.
I was talking about the teams that are going to be in the playoff. Like,
fucking
Washington.
yeah.
Like, but so weird to be in a position where 2 out of the 3 teams you feel the best at are going to be in the play-ins.
I love how you were like the 4 teams I feel best about in order is literally the top 4 in order.
I don't look at the standings. I just go by like how I watch them play and like how
I actually haven't looked at stage 4 standings the
No,
whole
yeah.
because there was
San Francisco, Atlanta, Guangzhou, Washington.
there you go.
There you go. Boom.
Genius.
I don't believe the numbers. Just believe us. So, but
Atlanta might not be in the
Where do
playing
you-
tournament. Atlanta
Yeah,
might
you
make
think
top
they're
6.
Yeah.
if they go 2-0, yeah.
but they play Dallas and Boston. Those are both
There you go.
should be very winnable games.
So I guess if we do a preview this next weekend, I think they do win both those games.
Yeah,
they should.
They should.
Their head coach Brad Rajani tweeted. I mean, is he head coach? Is he GM?
Yeah.
I can't actually remember.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, is their dad. Daddy Braddy tweeted, it's a tough choice, but we decided to focus this week of scrims on the Sigma patch. So that's not just Sigma, it's like Sigma plus all of the other balance changes as well.
Risa, Reinhardt, Zarya, Sim, like lots of changes.
I think that's a great choice for Atlanta because there's no point focusing too much on Dallas and Boston. Either you're gonna trash them, or it would have been wasted time to like fucking plow your head through them anyway.
Why are you even practicing for those games? They have nothing to play for.
Well, they could. They play for top 6.
No,
I'm saying Dallas and Boston. I mean, Dallas and Boston, they got nothing to play for.
If you're Dallas, just like you're not gonna sit there and practice 8 hours.
What is it? The Marshawn Lynch, like when he showed up to media day, they're like, "Why are you here?" He's like, "Just so I don't get fined." Like that's what would be these games. It's like, well, why are you showing up? Not because I have to. It's like it's like I mean, Dallas, they haven't won since April. I mean, they've been pretty bad. What
if anybody wants to play a Bud Light drinking game while Plat Chat's going on? One of the drinks is if Matt references a sports team. You would have just been hit right there.
Oh, that's not a classical.
You had a drink. When I was on Cheddar the other day too, they're like, "Well, who do you think's going to make this final spot between the Valiant and Chengdu?" And I was like, "I want to say the Valiant, but I have no idea how the fuck they do it. Like they have to win a game, right?
Yeah, they win.
I mean, they have to win one game. You think they're going to beat either the Gladiators or Shock? Maybe with the Gladiators, you kind of mentioned they're not really as strong as we thought they were.
I mean, apparently, hindsight 2020, Gladiators are actually Papagas, and so if you're a Valiant,
I wouldn't go that far.
Don't know about Papagas.
We never said Papaga tier.
They're all right.
No, I just said it just now.
You're claiming it? That's a claim. Listen, you don't want this fight. Sure, he's gonna get his fans on you, fam. I mean at the front end of that one. You don't want to catch his hands.
It's different though. It's a different culture. Sideshow called him passive, which is sort of made him go aggressive. I just called him a Papaga. It's different.
Well, that'll make him turn smart then, apparently.
Way worse, yeah.
No, but it's internet culture. It's banter.
Do you think the Valiant find a win?
The Valiant have beaten
I think they're going to beat the Gladiators.
Paris, Dallas, Boston, and a 2-1 game over Florida. Those are the teams that they've beaten this stage.
Not a crazy resume.
Not a good resume at all.
Florida game was so tough as well.
It was. But to be fair, Saya Player did kind of
and you couldn't ask for two worse matchups for the Valiant. A Battle of LA where even if the Gladiators we're gonna kind of take it lightly, still you don't take the battle for LA lightly. I mean, the Gladiators are putting out videos trash talking the Valiant, they ain't gonna go out easy. And the Shock, a potential another undefeated stage, the Cali Cup.
I just feel like the Valiant are going to be way more fired up when they go into that matchup because they're going to be like, hey, we're at our own homestand with fans going crazy and we have to win this game. I feel like they're just going to be fired up to turn up and beat the Gladiators.
But there's also the mental part where if you start to lose to the Gladiators, you know that you play the Shock the next day and you're pooping the bed. And
I don't think the Valiant work like that. I think they're overall consistent when it comes to their mental,
they're
game. I think the Gladiators have it worse in that regard.
But I also don't really buy into the idea that the Valiant homestand is going to be packed with Valiant fans.
The Gladiators are going to be heavy there too.
I think so, yeah. I think it's going to be split pretty 50-50.
And the Shock as well.
I don't know whether the Shock are going to come down for that. Like a bunch of people from San Francisco, I don't think so.
If you're a big Shock fan, you got Titans and you got Valiant the next day. I mean, those are...
True.
You basically get another repeat of a stage final, and then
okay. So I don't really have a reference point to this, but Matt, if the Clippers are hosting the Lakers, is it more of a Clippers game or more of a Lakers game?
Well,
because it's the same arena.
I mean, the Clippers have been a pretty poor franchise since they've existed, so it's usually just full of Laker fans.
Even if the Clippers are hosting a home game,
yeah.
I will see which fan base turns up, but I think there's a lot of Valiant fans who go this is our homestand. I'm much more incentivized to go there.
Do you think the Valiant fans even know that it's a Valiant homestand particularly?
Yeah, they do. I think
or do they just think it's an LA homestand?
Oh yeah, with all the promotion you see.
On the website, it literally says hosted by the LA Valiant.
Yeah, it's green everywhere.
It's green. Yeah, it couldn't be any more green. The branding of it.
Fair enough.
I could see how the Gladiators fans as well would just be like, "Hey, we want 2 LA teams in the playoffs, so we're gonna cheer for the Valiant."
But if you're a Gladiator,
that's some bullshit.
Bro.
That ain't ever happened.
Hey, it's esports, bro. It's esports, bro. We're PC. That's how it's supposed to be, right?
We finding somebody else for this show, but everybody should come out and hug each other. To celebrate, like, F out of here with that.
Where's the caller says, you guys are sleeping on Kit Kat fans. They'll be flying in from around the world.
Yo, that's excellent.
That'd be so good.
So wait, Bren, what do you think? You haven't really said much of anything. You think the Valiant? You think the Valiant find a win this weekend?
Funnily enough, I think the Valiant have been tested by Florida of all teams, and that was the thing that when I saw them get the win against Florida, I'm like, maybe there is a chance here for Valiant.
Could you imagine?
I don't think they're gonna have that home field advantage because it's a smaller venue for one. I think the fans are gonna be less inclined to boo and cheer because it's gonna be more of a mix. You can have Gladiator fans there as well. Like, it's gonna be crazy. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's going to be the same environment. You're not going to have the same environment like you did with Dallas, where OG's walking out and 4,500 people are chanting his name over and over again.
Sure.
No, it's not.
It's also way smaller.
Costa. He's bringing out Bud Light cases on his way out. Like,
but it's like the small things. It's like the small things. Like you go out on stage and there's just green LEDs everywhere, and everything is dressed in Valiant, and there's like mascots or whatever. It's just the small things, dude.
Yeah,
but
and I don't feel like the Gladiators have a leader who's just like, hey, we're gonna fuck these kids up because we're gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
You know?
Gladiators don't have an in-game leader. It feels like. I say in-game leader in terms of
an emotional leader, like
an emotional leader.
Someone to rally
sure.
behind.
I mean, I think the Gladiators are gonna go on stage and be like, hey, let's do our thing, and we're going to beat them.
Yeah, like when you go on stage, like we used to deal with this when we would play against Optic all the time. Like wherever we went, it was like the crowd's booing us, they're cheering Optic, and like. When you're on stage in that type of environment, like where I think the Gladiators will probably be, because like they're gonna do like probably like a special Valiant walkout, like all the types of stuff they pull out at the home stands. Like you just sit on the stage, you're like, yo, man, let's just dunk these clowns. Like let's just embarrass them in front of like all their people. Like
that was the rogue mentality every time we faced Envious, because we hated the fact that Envious was the most popular team in Overwatch.
That's how we felt.
We're gonna go on stage and we're gonna boom these Envious kids that are popular.
Like I want to send
like Coco fans. I was just like, I'm gonna boom this Coco kid because everyone is cheering for him and rooting for him.
Yeah, you send them all. That was
the mentality,
upset, dude. Yeah, that was the best part about it. Is like you'd see like all these little kids like leaving the venue early. Yeah, like, yep. Later.
Like I really regret we didn't have that final at E-League between Rogue and Envious after the Atlantic Showdown, because that would have been hands down one of the best matchups in Overwatch history. But alas, we lost in Game 5.
So do you think we have 2 7-0 teams this stage with the Atlanta Reign and the Shock? I think we probably do.
Yes.
I think the Shock beat the Titans, and then I think the Shock beat the Valiant.
And then I also think there is potential that we get both of those teams playing each other in the playoffs as well. Because even if the Reign didn't go 7-0, then I think it's pretty likely they make it through the play-in tournament and get to the double elim playoffs anyway. And
so let's talk about that right now. So Atlanta, if they go 2-0, they will pass the London Spitfire. London would drop to 7th. And are we saying the Valiants are in or out? For the sake of the next conversation, are they in or out?
I think they're out, man. I think they're out.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Are the Valiants in the play-ins or not?
Preview the bracket, we have to decide whether Chengdu or Valiant make it.
I lean more towards, like, my gut tells me they get in, but then when I mentally think about it and I look at the teams they play, I don't know how that's possible.
I think the Valiant are making it. I think so.
Okay.
So you're going to predict a Valiant upset over the Gladiator?
Yeah.
I would predict that. Yeah.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So for the sake of the conversation, we'll put the Valiant in because it's a good story. Your play-ins would be 7 and 8 get a bye. So London and Seoul Dynasty here would get buys.
I need to theorize this bracket real quick. Give me a second.
I'm telling you about it right now.
Yeah, but I can't. I need a visual. You'd
have the Guangzhou Charge against.
I need visual elements.
Okay, the Guangzhou Charge against the Valiant. You'd have the Guangzhou charge against the Valiant, and then you'd also have Shanghai against the Fusion.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wouldn't Valiant have better map differential than Shanghai? And it would have been Shanghai and Guangzhou.
Oh, actually, yeah, you'd have Shanghai could actually drop off.
And it'd be Valiant Philly.
Can Shanghai drop out?
No, because they can't go underneath Chengdu.
No.
Oh, in terms of map differential.
Yeah, they got that top 12.
But they're playing to be better seed than Valiant.
All right, so let's say for argument's sake that Shanghai loses. They drop down and Shanghai is now 12. So you could have Shanghai, Guangzhou, and then Valiant Philly.
Yeah.
They're playing Hangzhou, so they probably lose.
Yeah. I think
Honestly,
Guangzhou runs through whoever they play out of those three.
Yeah, Guangzhou is just definitely making the playoff tournament.
Bro,
like,
Atlanta Reign,
nobody's going to stop them.
Atlanta Reign are kind of incentivized not to win both of their matches.
Because they don't want to face the shock in the first round.
Yes.
No,
yes.
No.
You don't want 6th seed. You do not want to go up against a shock.
Brent,
so you'd rather play New York
so
than shock.
so you'd rather put your entire season in a single best of 5 than not play the double elim bracket guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
What a risk. I mean, let's actually think about that, right? If they deliberately tanked their last couple of games, or just one of them, so that they had to go through the play-in tournament, they are saying to themselves, they're in a team huddle, and they're like, guys, we're going to throw our spot in the guaranteed double elim playoffs because we're so confident we can slap every other team in the play-in tournament. What the fuck happens if you meet the charge in that single elim tournament?
And
I take the charge over the shock any day.
Bro, you're the other undefeated team in the league.
Like,
I'm not saying they should do it because it's against the terms and service of the Overwatch League. But theoretically, if I was running this team, I'd be like, boys, just go out the night before.
Oh,
have a couple of beverages.
No,
that's so stupid.
That is so dumb.
If you hit the charge, it's single elim. If you hit the shock, it's double elim. So fuck it.
and if you beat the shock, like, you're looking like you could go to the final.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't try. I'm just saying have a couple of drinks the night before.
And all you have to do is beat the shock in one best of 5.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
but if the playoffs actually are double elim,
you're all correct. You're all correct. It makes way more sense to secure a higher seed.
The one,
the security of the lower bracket.
Do you know, Johnny, if the play-in tournament reseeds itself?
I don't think so. No. So I think. Well, I don't freaking know.
Oh.
I think that the winner between 9th and 12 will play the number 7 team. No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does get reseeded. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
It does get reseeded. Yeah, that would make the most sense if it got reseeded.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping it gets reseeded because that would actually be the better format.
So let's say so you would have Guangzhou beating Shanghai.
Yeah.
And then who would win your Philly Valiant game?
Doesn't matter because they would get boomed. No, actually, I think Philly wins that game.
Philly Valiant.
Yeah.
You think?
I don't want to say that people are sleeping on Philly, but they did beat Seoul.
Yeah,
yes.
They beat Seoul and they actually looked relatively clean.
That's a very good point.
When they want to win, this team's biggest problem has been their motivation. Where if they actually want to win games, they will start looking okay.
That would be such an amazing result because then you would have a match between Philadelphia and London for one of the spots in the actual bracket.
That's dope.
As a play-in, and then you'd have Guangzhou Seoul Dynasty.
Who would you want to win that game? Philadelphia or London? If you had to pick one that can be in the playoffs, would you want Philly to win that elimination game?
Yes.
You know,
I would almost want London.
If it was up to me, I want Philly to go to the finals.
Oh, because they're playing in Philly.
Yeah, that's why I want the Philly to win. I don't think they will. I don't think they will, but I want them to.
I think these teams are super equal. Like, I think London has been arguably one of the more disappointing teams to stage.
Yeah, but they have the same problem. They lose versus the worst teams because they have no incentive. They're just like they turn up and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna beat Florida."
I mean, I think London would beat Philly probably in that.
Yeah, because it's an elimination game as well.
They really should.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, Philly comes out and fucking Carpe just starts clicking heads. Who the fuck knows? Like,
It's simple maths. Will London get eliminated? If yes, they will beat their opponent.
Yeah.
Simple maths.
Yeah. All right. I mean, maybe we will see that again.
Do you think Seoul beats Guangzhou?
No.
I
think Seoul are actually looking.
They looked better with Flatout on the
They
flex
could.
roll.
Here's the thing, though. Everything's going to change. We're talking about this theoreticals based off of the most recent information we've got. But you're going to have a new patch. You're going to have teams with a lot of time to prep for these games.
My boy Nevix
Totally
on the Sigma
Totally
turning up, bro.
How much time do they have to prep?
Well, if they're not playing in the homestand, then they've got like a week.
Philly's got a week.
So,
Philly's
I mean,
got an extra week.
the Shock are playing this homestand, but Nevix is already practicing Sigma, so he's going to be the best Sigma player around.
Guangzhou has an extra week to practice. Philly has an extra week to practice. London has the extra week to practice. Seoul Dynasty as well. So most of the teams in the play-in, outside of the Valiant and Shanghai.
Do you think there will actually be a significant shift to the meta?
I think Sigma is better than
you're gonna
Roadhog or
see.
Diva,
I think you're gonna see Sigma or Risa comps. Yeah.
A lot of teams are saying it right now, or not a lot of teams. A lot of the ranked games. Correct me if I'm wrong, Johnny. It's a lot of double barrier. Shazam.
Yep. Every game.
What do you play damage wise? Like, do you play Hanzo with like double sniper?
Well, when I
come
play
down
damage,
to,
I play Hanzo.
Does it come down to who has the best Symmetra?
I will
Chengdu
say
Hunter's
this,
going to
though.
make a run for the finals.
Could you imagine? I was saying that when we were playing me, Seth, and Mitch last night. I was like, can you imagine if our finals comes down to like fucking Prophet picking up fucking Symmetra and just fucking dunking people with Sim? But I tell you what, though, you know who has an opportunity? Like all jokes aside, if Sim comes back into the meta, you're gonna laugh here. But like, she kind of has the same. I don't want to say same tech, but like as Zarya, like the Sinatra come back and play
Sinatra
like a
comes in as a
fat
Symmetra,
Sim,
man.
like a fat Sim dude with the barrier,
Yeah,
the
maybe.
beam, and just start going off like.
But how does
the meta is so much in flux because right now in role queue in ranked, no one is like playing Mei, and that impacts the neutral battle so much that it's going to be interesting to see if the pros still play Mei or if they're just playing double sniper or Sigma.
So, but like with the like when we joke about the Sim stuff, because of the double barrier, Sim gets like tons of beam charge and then she reloads. It also works that way with Mei's wall. She also generates charge off of Mei's wall as well.
But
And recharges ammo.
We're skipping a step here. How does Orisa Sigma deal with the current Mei Reaper Orisa Diva comp? How can you possibly deal as a Sigma with people just running at you? With
the Rock is mega.
You suck the damage,
Dwayne
bro.
the Rock Johnson comes in.
You suck the damage
from the
bro.
top ropes.
Is Orisa Sigma really an effective counter to the Mei Reaper stuff?
That's what I'm saying. No, I don't.
I feel like you roll over them.
I think it's about the Mei.
Yeah, it's good against Mei.
But I don't know.
My brain isn't big enough, honestly, and I don't think anyone's brain is big enough.
I think that the rock
this kind of stuff
can be useful. I don't think it's super useful. I think it can be useful. I was going to say something. The damage of Sigma is actually a bit underrated. Like you can actually deal quite a lot of damage if you hit.
Yeah, you have to get the range right though.
Yeah, it's the annoying type of damage is like the Junkrat just spamming a choke type of thing with like the little like AoE explosions that come off of it. Like,
yeah. I mean, who knows what we're gonna see?
I don't know what we're going to see.
Nobody knows what we're gonna see.
No.
This is what it comes down to.
Sigma's a weird hero. I didn't even think he was going to be meta, and then I started playing
neither did I.
ranked, and now
I mean,
he's
dude, you
apparently
could
insane.
with the changes to like the beams and stuff. Like, could you even see like Sigma Zarya with like a
people
sim
said
and just
this.
people just I don't think so, but
I think
you just
cool.
force cooldowns out of the Sigma Zarya team, and then
Well,
like,
yeah.
how the fuck do they do anything when their bubbles are down?
Their win condition is speed boosting the Zarya past shields.
yeah, is speed boosting Zarya and Symmetry and past the shields and just nuking people down.
I don't know.
Which just gets pounded by a Mei Reaper comp.
Honestly, this feels so Pepega.
Yeah,
Like,
you
we're
have
speculating
to see,
about dumb shit.
you have
Well,
to see.
we have to more than anything though. We have to go and watch some scrims before the play-in tournament because it's a tight turnaround for us as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna be looking at this like, what in the fuck am I watching?
You gotta go on live and just see how fast Symmetra's killing people. I actually
haven't played Overwatch in like a week.
actually like there are some times where like something happens in a game, I'm like, it's kind of weird. Like when I was playing it last night, we were all just like laughing hysterically. Like you would just flank, and if you had like any type of charge on a shield, you just nuke like 3 players
What's
down.
her survivability like though?
Well, what she still has like the regen shields, right? Like she still has like how much of her health is shields?
Yeah, but that doesn't matter in the middle of a fight.
Oh, I mean, she still feels pretty good, and especially because her like the TP can go further now, and it's infinite in terms of duration.
People keep saying that's enough, but I don't understand
No,
Symmetra's
it
kit
is
enough to understand why it's enough.
It's
What's enough?
The TP change.
because you have to cancel the TP, like how Torb's turret, and then it goes on cooldown if you want to put a different one up.
Right. I see. So the
but-
cooldown's like fucked.
But the turrets, like with the slow, so she has like a slow that also does damage with like escapability with the teleporter, like, and
Do you
the only
think that
way for the opponents
Symmetra
to
could
deal with the
replace
teleporter
Reaper?
is killing it.
No, I don't think so. She doesn't have
Against yeah, but against shield comps, I think she can.
I don't think so. I think. Well, I mean, fuck knows. But
Are you
also,
surprised we're having this
Fuck
conversation of
knows.
can Symmetra replace Reaper?
Bro,
Like,
she's got
Yeah.
no
Nobody
survivability.
knows,
She doesn't have the
bro.
fucking Wraith form. She's got poke, but only if you stand right next to the shield. So she's worse than a Hanzo because you can't get long range
Yeah, but you
picks either.
TP and force them to the point. Force
Yeah.
close battles.
You
Right,
run over
uh,
her with May Reapers.
She
You
has
flatten
range.
the bitch with May Reaper.
Symmetra has range.
yeah, and act like bro.
What do you
act
mean?
like-
Symmetra has range.
Act
She's
like
got range,
Brig ain't
bro.
coming back, dog. Act like we ain't seeing Brig.
Yo, Brig meta.
Act like we're
Bro.
not seeing main support
Yeah.
Brig.
Nobody.
Just
Listen, this conversation is pointless. Nobody knows what we're gonna see
Yes,
moving into the playoffs.
Yeah, but
I
what if
don't
we're
know.
right though?
we don't know
if
what
we're
the
right, though?
changes are gonna do.
totally correct.
It's
Look
gonna
at
be
it, look at this.
fucking-
We're theorizing. We don't even know what the fuck the TP does.
What do you
It's
think
gonna
it's
be
like when pro
fucking
teams
epic.
try to figure out the meta? They don't know
It's
what the
the
fuck
same
they're doing either. It's just that's
They
the
do-
fun part of it.
They just throw shit at the wall until they're constantly
Yeah,
booming.
like,
people
oh,
in
this
strings.
team
Yeah.
is beating us with this comp. Let's copy their composition, and then you copy the composition and play someone else, and they beat you, and you copy their composition, and you don't know what you're doing.
I just can't trust. I can't trust teams anymore.
I was like after I played some games last night, I was like, oh man, this is kind of insane. I was looking at Overwatch streams to watch, and I threw on there's like a top 500 sim streamer on, and even he was like, yo, this hero's mega. He was not playing sim, and he was like, I don't know if I want to play her because she's mega he felt she was mega busted. And he's like, I want them to nerf her, and all I do is play sim.
All right. Let's think about
Imagine
this.
what a heartbroken feeling that is of being a Symmetra troll streamer, and suddenly she's good.
No,
Suddenly
like,
she's meta.
he was like, yo, you could
Like, what's
easily
the
hit
point?
top 500 as sim, and I was like, oh, I believe it.
You know, become a Genji streamer. You know.
Okay, the only way then to predict who's actually going to be good in the play-in tournament or the playoffs is to think about which teams adapt quickly.
Yes.
I think that basically rules the Hangzhou Spark out of it because they always take like 2 weeks to figure out how to like coordinate between Gushui and Rhea.
I think there are teams in a lot of trouble towards the end of the year. I think the Guangzhou Charge, do they become even better? Like I feel like they have Nero and
Dude,
Happy. Those
Hotba?
guys can play fucking anything. Hotba,
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
yeah,
pretty good.
Hotba will fucking be trying to play Tracer. Fuck we know.
I feel like
Yeah.
London will be good as well. I think Fury's gonna figure out Sigma. And I feel
Yeah,
like,
he's been playing a ton of Sigma. I've been watching it. He's been streaming some nights.
Yeah.
Super random. If you go on the role queue leaderboards, the number one tank
the
player,
broken role.
the
queue
number one
leaderboards.
tank player, yeah, the broken ones. The number one tank player right now on the ladder's Hydration, who's been playing a ton of Sigma. He's just been playing Sigma
Hydration,
Ball.
the main tank player, huh?
He's been playing Sigma Ball and Orisa, I think.
Sigma balls. Yeah, I think hydration could be a great addition to the Gladiators.
Especially if Sigma is kind of like a weird hybrid damage dealer tank, like
Yeah.
secondary barrier type.
But the most important question is, will NYXL play for San Francisco Choke?
Please,
No,
please give
I-
me Nevix.
Dude, what I watched the team.
Dude, give me
Sweden
Nevix to Yobin. Give me Nevix Toyobin as a fucking tank duo.
Bench super, dude.
That would spank.
I
so
watched.
good.
It was Team Sweden scrims, and he was playing a ton of Sigma.
Yeah,
But this is when they first. This is when they first like released the heroes. So maybe they're just trying things out. But oh, it's gonna be crazy.
Alright, let's just speculate.
Hold
Which
on,
other
let's get
teams will have a
to
good
let's get to
Sigma?
an actual. Hold on, if we had an actual bracket,
No,
you would have.
no,
hold on.
let's do that next week. Chill out.
No. You'd have, in theory, you'd have like a Guangzhou Charge versus what? The Shock round 1?
This is worse than speculating about the meta.
Oh no,
Wait,
never
what?
mind. No, you'd have like a Guangzhou Charge versus
what the hell are you talking about?
NYXL.
This
Sorry.
is not worse than speculating the meta.
You're speculating a bracket that requires like 7 different things to happen, aren't you?
No,
Like 2.
no, it's
Yes,
like 2
pretty much
things.
2
You just pick the play-ins, and then you have whether London gets in over Atlanta.
Oh, it don't matter anyway. We're going over my allotted time. I've got places to be, meetings to have.
My allotted time, meaning he's waiting for the TI ceremony to start again or whatever the fuck.
TI starts at 7
Let's talk
PM.
about the homestand. Let's do some predictions.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright,
Didn't we predict all the games that matter?
Yes.
Are there only there are only 4 games that matter? No, actually, Spark Dragons matters as well.
So
Alright.
Atlanta will beat Dallas. New York by default will beat Boston. The Shock will beat Vancouver.
I don't
and
know,
then-
fam. Listen,
what is
Boston
I
comes
don't-
out
oh,
against
come
New York.
on.
Wait,
When
what?
these-
That's the one you're questioning.
these
Boston, New
teams-
York.
When these teams have nothing to play for, and New York have been looking doo-doo, I can see a world in which Boston win.
No, stop yourself.
Yeah, I can see a world where Boston win.
All right, here's my
Nothing
hot,
left to play for, baby.
here's my hot take of the week as well. I was watching Oversight when they were talking about New York, and their constant thing that they were saying over and over and over again was, how are New York this bad when they have such good players on their team? I'm looking at the New York roster. Apart from Mano, who's like really well-rounded, and Jonak, who's actually nutty, I don't think I would have the others in top 5 for anything. Like, I don't think that
Animal?
roster is... No, I don't think so. Not really. I think this
yeah.
roster's got a lot of big names and quite a bit of versatility, but our idea that New York XL are actually like a stacked roster, I think is just actually wrong. Like, I don't think Meko is in top 5 off tanks, and I don't even think this year he's been in top 5.
Who would your top 5 off tanks?
You
be? I
don't think
like-
Jonak's top 5?
No, he
No,
said
no,
outside
I
of
do.
Jonak and Mono. He said
Jonak is definitely top 5. Jonak's
Okay.
probably top 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Mano actually fluctuates based on his team quite a lot, but is generally very strong.
Are either of their damage dealers in the top 10?
Yes.
Who?
You say that with certainty.
Who?
Yes.
Okay.
Nene?
Nene.
Libero
Nene's,
playing May and Hanso.
It's better than
Farah, like
Nene
better-
is in the
can
top
you say
10
he's
of
definitely-
all damage dealing players.
Yes.
Okay, but that's
no,
it.
not Nene. I wouldn't say Nene.
No.
No, I
Who would
think
you
that's
say?
I think that's wild to say
Who
that.
would you say?
In what sense is he? What? Who would my top 10
Can
be?
you can name
I-
10 damage dealers better than Nene?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
You can take like 3 from the Shock.
If I was building a
but
team,
are we-
I'd
are we
rather
talking-
have
are
Libero.
we talking about the current meta?
No. I'm saying throughout the whole
Overall?
of this year. This
Whole
year,
year.
NYXL's players, individually speaking, have actually not been that great. Libero and Brig was pretty decent, actually, but the Zarya performance from Nene was all right at the beginning. Then it fell off hard. What we've actually seen when they've been playing DPS has been very lackluster from both Nene and Libero. Libero was famed for his
Like, where would you rank their damage
flexibility.
dealers? Johnny, seriously, right now, where would you rank their core of damage dealers? Where would you rank them?
I don't know. That's a huge question. I can't just like wizard up my entire top 15 of damage players now, just like that.
Right, but
I'm
let's
just saying
let's
my
start
idea
naming-
of Libero as a good all-around flex player that can like shine on heroes like Brig, May, and Hanso. I just like, who would take that role? Like Adora? Is Adora
but-
better than Libero?
Oh well,
Lib-
I mean, you're going to bow.
Is
barrel.
Flatter
Libero-
better than Libero?
Whoa, but even then, the 3 heroes you named, Libero's May and Hanzo, have not been top 10 in the league at the moment.
Yeah, I know, because they're losing and they're sucking ass. Yeah.
But like one of the things that is easiest to look good on is like the
Hanzo.
you're playing it really intelligently, and the Hanzo when you just fucking rip people's heads off, even when people haven't been that good.
I'm just saying, I need some time to process.
Sure, but I mean, even players that have just come into the league, like Godsby, has actually had a better year in 2019 than either of the New York XL
Decay, Sinatra.
Decay, yep, Sinatra. Architect, when he's actually come in and played DPS, has been better than the
Ding.
DPS.
Up until like
Ding when he was on fire. Yeah, Ding's a weird one. Like he just played fire when nobody else was. But I think I think there needs to be like a bit of a paradigm shift with the way that we think about the NYXL. It's not the most stacked roster in the league anymore. It was last year, but not
Nero
anymore.
and Happy.
Nero and Happy's a wild DPS duo for this.
Yeah, I actually rate Nero and Happy so highly.
Yeah. Like those guys are sick.
I ain't gonna stand to them. They are sick.
I think just with all of the new additions this year, if we had
what about Sabiobi?
All 4 stages, well, what are you going to play Sabiobi on? Tracer, and outside of that, he wouldn't be.
His Widowmaker was pretty.
His Widowmaker was all right last year towards the end. When he played it this year,
Sombra this year was pretty good.
It was all right. Yeah, it was pretty decent.
It's probably one of the best times they looked throughout the whole year is when they had him in a lot of play.
They need to put Sabiobi back in, I think.
I'm having a bit of an existential crisis, and I will tell you why. So this year, I've just worked so hard in production and like overworked myself. Like I'm borderline burnt out on Overwatch League because I just worked so hard. And what I told Josh like a week ago was that like I do so much automated thinking going to work every day that I've lost the ability to just critically think things through.
Yeah.
So like I just do the work, like do task A, and I just do it. But I don't actually think about it. So when you say a thing like say this, it's been ingrained in me all year that New York is stacked.
Like
and I'm just like having this like moment where I'm just like boomed, where I'm just
like okay, so like even like you took Meko in for instance, Josh, like you wouldn't say Meko's better than Choyobin.
I wouldn't say Meko's better than Choyobin, Fury, Janu when he was playing Diva.
Space.
No, I see. I don't know. I don't really know about Space. I mean, Space has been pretty clutch, and he's been all right.
You can at least have an argument
for sure. You could.
Who else?
Somebody in the chat saying people are forgetting Shock and NYXL have the same match record. NYXL are in a weaker division.
Yeah, much weaker division. I was arguing against this recently, but actually, when you look at the schedule as well, the way that it played out, New York play the vast majority of their Pacific opponents in Stage 4. So what's actually happened is the worst case scenario for the best case scenario in some sense, where they just kind of coasted for 3/4 of the year, only playing mostly Atlantic opponents.
But what's crazy is this,
and they were very good early on in the year.
This right now is the weakest the Pacific has been, and they're not able to beat them.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point, Matt.
Like the Pacific was way stronger even early on. Like this is the stage where the Atlantic division the best games.
Yeah.
Someone's had 10 DPS better than NYXL, and they just listed Corey, and I'm just like, he's right.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, Jinmu? You would rate Jinmu high? I don't think I put Jinmu in that list.
Like
Jinmu's got crazy mechanics. Like Jinmu's mechanics are definitely, I think.
But what about with the way like even Saya players played?
No, shut it down. Shut it down. No, it's not happening, dude.
Saya player is cracked.
Saya player.
No,
Saya player's got
cracked.
mechanics.
He's not.
He is cracked. What? He is actually nutty, but he's just a bit of a papega as well. But his actual mechanics are fantastic. But I think then you kind of get into
but I'm talking about the entire year now, because your criteria was like reflecting on the entire year.
Yeah.
Oh well.
But
I
think
whatever.
I think New York have got a lot to prove, honestly.
Like, can you see them going far in the playoffs? Like,
no, not at all.
Can't.
No, I don't think this suits them at all. This style of Overwatch that we're in at the moment, the Orisa shield centric, this kind of stuff. Especially when it either relies on your DPS going wild or like having a really good understanding of their role, or it's very much like about team coordination.
Where do you think like
understanding of the meta?
Where do you think Meko's Roadhog's at?
Pretty average.
He hasn't even been playing that much of it. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they were a team that played Orisa Diva like right from the beginning because they just didn't want to play the Orisa Hog, because as far as I'm aware, Meko's Hog is fairly non-existent.
Isn't Sabiel B's Roadhog is pretty sick though, right?
It used to be. In 2016, Sabiel B's Roadhog was like...
You pull that out and then you're showing your hand immediately.
That's true. Yeah, because Sebiobi ain't
Yeah.
going to play
He
Diva.
gonna play Diva. I mean,
Did you hear that for the Stage 3 playoffs, when they had been playing the entire time
with Sabiobi on Sombra, yeah.
with Sabiobi on Sombra, when they were practicing for the playoffs, they got Meko in playing on Sabiobi's account. So everybody thought that Sabiobi was in, and so they were prepping against them like they were playing Sombra, but they actually had Meko on his account playing Diva. And all the teams that were scrimming against them were like, holy fuck, how is Sabiobi this good at Diva? It's like it's actually Meko on his account.
That's pretty
amazing.
Good. That's dude, playoffs are gonna be wild.
Yeah,
they are. They're gonna be insane.
Just thinking about like some of like the upsets that like could happen. Like
playoffs are gonna be nuts, man.
Especially because a lot of the teams in the top 6 got a lot of their wins like early on in the year. Like your Hangzhou's and your NYXLs, like even Vancouver, right? Like
the entire idea of the way the bracket works is, I just love it. It's the same reason I'm so excited about Dota every year, TI, because you've got a great little mini tournament just initially that's like super high stakes because teams that lose that, they get eliminated straight away, and then you move into the actual playoff, but you still get opportunities where teams can come back and go on crazy runs in the lower bracket, you know, because of the double elimination. I love this format. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, no,
it's essentially mirrored the TI format. But instead of playing like a week of group stages, we've played months of group stages.
Yeah, I mean the logistics are just insane of TI. They have so many matches in their playoff. Yeah,
I mean they're playing matches in like hotel rooms and shit. Like it's wild.
Love that
little pocket of esports.
Throw back to Apex.
Yo, I'm excited for the Kit Kat rivalry. Golden Boy's gonna be there.
Yeah,
it should be dope.
Yeah, Golden Boy. That is just a hashtag ad. Golden Boy. Golden Boy paid us to mention him on the stream. So
they're going to have a what is it called? Dunk tank.
Yeah.
I saw that shit.
You can have the chance to dunk Matt.
Me?
Yeah. Let's put you on there. Let's do it for. Let's put you on there for charity.
Who the hell wants to dunk me? I'm nice. There's something mean in there.
Dunk you.
Like the dunk Doa.
You just said D, and that was the first name.
Everyone's got beef with Doa.
Doa's down for it.
Yeah. Nah, I think they should put you in the dunk tank, Johnny.
Why?
Or I think the loser of Valiant Gladiators should have to put a player in the dunk tank for their angry fans after the loss to repeatedly dunk.
That would be amazing. The catharsis for all of the fans. I think they are planning to do it.
I'm just really scared that it's gonna take like 20 tries for the fans to hit them, and it's just gonna take like 5 minutes. And like, yo, fans, please hit the thing.
Nah, bro, these people are professionals. When they see all these people missing, they start moving the line that you have to stand behind up like really close. They're like, oh yeah, throw from here. It's like they basically like reach out and just hit the dunk. Like you can't.
This ain't their first rodeo.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations, Bren. By the way, forgot to congratulate you on winning the one
in a what?
The Hanzo 1v1.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot.
Well done.
I feel like that segment was sort of overlooked by the pause, but that might have been like one of the best.
But you know what though?
All year.
That's big. Bren now moves to 1-1 in terms of 1v1s because you got to draw against Fran because he didn't show.
So, true. Yeah, that's true.
But he lost versus Baby Bay.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, so 1-2
1
2 and 1 1 2 and 1
1 2 and 1
1 2 and 1. Not a bad record. Not a bad record. One game away from 500.
Not awful.
Who's your next victim? Who's your next victim?
Listen, I don't know. I don't want to overdo the 1v1s because there is an opportunity for them to be overdone. The only reason I agreed to do this one was because it had a little bit of a quirk to it, you know.
What if we get a Doomfist 1v1 where we get you and another player a really large glove and you guys hit each other just like one at a time?
I'd be down for it, but somehow we won't be allowed to do that.
You literally just stole Burrito's ideas in Twitch chat, Matt.
I did. I saw that was a good idea. I didn't read the name though, but shout out to you. Thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
So boxing.
Yeah, so boxing. Bro. Essentially,
yeah. I don't know. You got to take advantage of all these opportunities to do the 1v1s now, though, because next year, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, Brennon.
I wish we could do like
a traveling roadshow with Bren just 1v1.
I wish we could do like 1v1 to just like top all the 1v1s. Like they've been getting like a little crazier as time goes.
I ain't gonna lie. If we don't do Idiots Abroad-esque show with me going to all the different homestands and being shown around. That is the biggest wasted opportunity I've ever seen.
That would be
from
fantastic.
anything.
You know, it'd be the ultimate 1v1 competition, and it would actually.
Take me to Guangzhou. Let me taste the local cuisines.
As far as I'm aware, I've spoken to the Owl management.
I didn't hear what you just said.
Yeah, your mic just cut out completely.
Yeah, your mic cut out right when you said that. They muted you, bro. They muted
Punchline
you.
destroyed.
They muted you, bro.
Censored.
I said they're planning to send you to Guangzhou for good.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Guangzhou, turn up. 13 million people.
I want to see a Bren versus Agilities for a 1v1.
How is that?
But I want to see them. I want to see them out on the water with like those jetpacks on behind them that like, launch them up and get them 2 boats side by side and have them try and throw things at each other as a Farah duel in the air. I don't know how.
That's painful though.
Sign up on. Yeah, I actually don't even know if you guys would be able to mechanically move the thing like the jetpack and shoot things at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Hey,
but I think that's the only 1v1 I think we can take to another level.
The ultimate 1v1 would be at the finals that Bren does 1v1 DJ with Zed on Lucio and IRL, and you just DJ for a crowd, and best music wins.
Bren versus DJ Khaled.
Bren versus DJ Khaled, dude. Yeah.
Another one.
You play Lucio, and then you do a DJ set.
Dude,
and then
you and
round.
DJ Khaled could get out on stage and have like a rap off or something.
A dance off, dude.
Dance off.
I'm down.
I've seen DJ Khaled shakes.
Call him up.
Call him up.
Call him up. I'm down. Let's get him out.
No, I think you can squeeze one more good 1v1.
Yeah.
I like the idea of chess boxing. I think me and you should do some chess boxing, Bren.
Okay.
Well, you play a game of chess, then you do a round of boxing.
I feel like it's pretty even,
up, please.
Boxing.
Because I gotta go get food. I woke up at 2, and my body is shutting down.
Well, Johnny, we usually end with Johnny asking you a question about a certain team, and he hasn't asked you any questions about any
I decide
teams,
when the podcast ends.
Okay.
It's not over till the fat lady sings thing.
That's why I'm not singing.
Now we wait. Hey,
wait.
You know,
do you want to talk about Boston pricing?
No.